Tonight, I just wanna take you away. Throw your hands up in the sky. Let's set this party on fire. Players, put your pinky rings up.
Have you ever had your planning dream come true? I have. My planning dream was to do something big. And when I say big, big stage, big production, but also big love. And I got that here at the Wiltern Theater. I had two amazing people, Dave Erickson and Jade Lewis, who came together on their first date here at the Wiltern. So where were they going to get married? Right here, of course. What I didn't know was that it was also David Erickson's little boy dream to do a production and produce a concert at the Wiltern. What he did is he produced his wedding. It was really their story, and their story was about music, it was about the Wiltern, and it was about creating an amazing experience for all of their guests. East 6 Invitations, which is located in Sherman Oaks, was our design. And they really set the tone for the whole experience. The invitation was intricate. It had every ounce of Art Deco. From there, we decided we really need to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. This was the first time ever I've totally used social media to run a wedding. And it wasn't to run it, it was to communicate. Because David and Jade were very specific on how they wanted this to not just go, but how they wanted the guests to experience their day. The Wiltern is quite an iconic historic venue. And so with that, they have a lot of security, so to speak. And so just like for every concert that we go to here, you had to have that experience. When they walked into the door, they were greeted with paparazzi. They were invited over to a custom step and repeat provided by Step and Repeat LA. We had to gather people. It was 290 guests. They came in, they enjoyed cocktails, not too much because a ceremony is about commitment. And then at 5 o'clock, the doors opened into the main theater. The chairs set the tone. They were chameleon chairs done by Bright Event Rentals. And they were classic. They had just the same curve that you see all around the Wiltern. The room was lightly lit because this is a ceremony, not the reception. And we wanted to make sure that we were going to make a transition into something grander as the evening unfolded. Our couple actually were escorted down not just one aisle, but two. It was parallel for the ladies and the gents to walk up and stand for our couple on what we lovingly called the wedding cake, which is a 3-tier platform. Here again, all done in Art Deco, on top of a high-gloss, unbelievable 60 by 40 black dance floor. Alan Katz of Great Officiants was the man of the hour. He stepped out, and then the lights came down, and Miss Jade Lewis and her loving parents walked her down the aisle to be greeted by David, who stepped down from the wedding cake to take her hand and escort her up. Alan opened his mouth and said these classic words.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
Something happened that no one expected. Welcome 4 confetti cannons that exploded throughout the theater, and that was the crescendo for the ceremony. So let me walk you through what was happening while the room was being changed over. Because see, we had to flip that whole theater into dinner. It took an hour and a half to do, and while that hour and a half was going on there, so much was happening out here. We had a photo booth, but it was a different type of photo booth. It was open air. It was actually the background for the Wiltern, one of the ones that they use here. David and Jade met And their first date was here at the Wiltern, which means it was all about music. So we had a moment where we had this amazing singer from Ron Rubin Events. And then we had just this unbelievable dancer, and her name was Ashley. She was more of a theatrical dancer, and she worked together with our opera singer in order to create a wonderful experience cascading down the main entrance of the cocktail area. Nate Perry, who is just a saint and my hero, was the person in charge of the lighting cues and the sound and the changeover and the mechanics of the theater. And thank you, everyone, that we were in the theater. We could not have pulled this off in any other environment. You know, the fact that we had to flip a space, and that literally the ceremony space was going to flip into dinner. That alone, the logistics and mechanics on that. So how do you do that? You do that with an army, and you do it with really great caterers. You know, DLS Catering did an amazing, Bill Zolden and his team did an amazing job. SRO, dropping florals, you know, Borrowed Blue, dropping, you know, all of the tabletop, because they had the silverware, the chargers, the plates, all of that had to come in that hour and a half. All of the bridal party was announced, and then, of course, our lovely couple of Jade and David Erickson. They came into the reception, and the party really, truly began. Doors open, and dinner begins. And when they got to their seat, they were greeted with a hand calligraphied menu card that was not just a menu card, but it was also a thank you card. We had 4 different entrees that we did. DLS Catering was our amazing caterer. The table that you sat at, now that was a combination. It was the beauty of SRO Events, who did the stunning centerpieces, the candles. Borrowed and Blue was who did the actual place setting, along with MTB Rentals. Glassware was one person. Table setting was another. Linen was done by Bright, and the chairs were done by Bright Event Rentals. The beautiful centerpieces, Cindy Hassel at SRO Events. When dinner was 3/4 done, it was time to start the festivities. It was a custom-made video done by Godfather Films, who literally had gone out and interviewed every single person in the wedding party. And this was really important. David and Jade had not seen it. They had no idea what was going to be said. They had no idea how it was all going to put together. The drapes parted, and then you heard it. A stunning black dance floor. Our DJ was Richard Martinez. He had a platform, and then he also had a frame that, here again, had the detail in the front, the monogram. Revelry Designs is just top in their game. They do furniture, they do lighting, they do draping, but they do chandeliers. And we had these 3 just off the charts chandeliers on the dance floor. Jade's heart belongs to candy. And for her wedding would not be complete unless she had the most amazing candy and sweet station ever. Hollywood Candy Girls, that's who did it. This cake was actually handmade by a family member. And we had sparklers on top of the cake. And late night turned into a very special dance of the evening. And Ashley came back to do what she really does, which is burlesque. Burlesque at a wedding? Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? It was very much a part of David and Jade, and they wouldn't have missed it for the world. So guests enjoyed tacos as they gathered, and as the Rolls Royce pulled up to the side of the Wiltern in order to whisk our couple off to the next part of their evening, which was at the Ritz-Carlton. We had love and a love story told as only David and Jade could. That's what I do. I tell really great stories. I'm blessed to have told this one. And it's one that I will remember forever and ever. And I'm forever grateful to David and Jade and to the team that came together. It was truly a team of people that created their special day, absolutely their way. And for that, I am truly grateful. So from my heart to yours, thank you for being you.